back to 5 Minutes of Finney. On this lovely afternoon, in this fucking cold house, I'm going to be pairing a craft beer and a whiskey, which will work really well because on a cold day, you always want a whiskey to warm you up. This whiskey and craft beer were actually paired together by the brewer and distiller because the beer was aged in the whiskey barrel. So, without further ado, I'm going to be trying Franciscan Pale Ale, which was done in the Jameson casks. And I don't drink the regular Jameson, that's not my thing. So I actually don't even have a bottle of it in my cupboard. So I actually have Jameson Special Reserve, the 12-year-old. So that's what I'm going to pair it with. I've actually had this pairing before. I had it at my craft beer and whiskey pairing, which I did in September. But I thought it'd be nice to do it again for you guys. We always start with beer because originally the whole plan with this craft beer with whiskey back. A back is pretty much a small measure of alcohol that follows a certain drink. So with this, it's beer followed by a whiskey back. So we'll start with a Franciscan Pale Ale done in Jameson casks. They were second fill American oak casks. It was aged for 60 days and the beer is 6%. It has Cascade hops in it. Each bottle is numbered and tells a best before date. I think that's about it for that. Pour it in. So you have a nice, thick, creamy, off-white head on this. It's got really fruity nose to it. Caramel, biscuity nose to it. Biscuit, like there's a very biscuity flavor to it. You get a lot of malt, some fruits to it, light fruits though, not really any deep fruits, maybe some apricot, and then a little bit of caramel in it. You only get a hint of the whiskey, it's not overpowering. This is a little bit of sweetness to it. And then we're going to put this aside and talk about whiskey. So this is Jameson, the Special Reserve 12-year-old. They say to do it just with the regular Jameson, which I've done before, and it's quite nice with that. Jameson itself is triple distilled, which means it's distilled 3 different times in 3 different pot stills. And it's pot still whiskey, obviously. And that makes it so it reaches about 80 to 85% alcohol by volume, and then they drop it back to a lower ABV and cask it to age it, and then bring it even more back ABV-wise to bottle it when they're done. So this was done in bourbon and sherry casks, Oloroso sherry casks. The whiskey in this is at least 12 years old, and they might have whiskey older than that as well in the 12-year-old whiskey. So pour that in. Whoa, that's quite a big shot, I think. But so got in my little tiny glass here. You can actually smell the heat coming off of this. It's really, really warm. It's spicy. I'm getting toffee, maybe some butterscotch. Oaky flavor. There's a bit of nuttiness to it. You definitely taste the sherry off the cask as well in this one. Warm, warm whiskey. So then the whole point is that you drink them together. But the whole point with this is that you drink the beer and then you have the whiskey as a whiskey back. So, the beer. The whiskey should be like a whiskey chaser, kind of. And they should bring out the flavors of each other. You get a lot of malt and biscuit off of the pale ale. You get even more wood off of the whiskey and spices and stuff. They work very nicely together. They pair very nicely together. As I said before, beer and whiskey go really, really well together. And when it's a cold day like this, what more do you want than just to go out and have a craft beer and have some whiskey as well to like warm you up. So that's all we have up in here. We've got our beer, we've got our whiskey. Drink 'em. Cilantro. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the comments. Like, share. Hope to see you soon. Cheers, so!